What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the world according to Briggs. Did you know people are leaving New York? Yeah, they are. Just like California, people are moving out of New York State. This time it's a little bit different. The state has people leaving, but New York City has people pouring out of there. Our last video was on what cities in the most popular states Californians were moving to. New York is a little bit different. Like I said, 90% of the people are leaving one place, New York City. The reason for this? Well, the Big Apple's gone sour for many of the residents, and they just bounce. Compared to California's video, you'll probably think this isn't as bad as California. The numbers moving to different states is about half what California has, but New York also has about half as many residents. So when you look at the averages and the per capita and all that nonsense, it's about the same. Overall, New York's population has declined over the past decade. The state has lost a net of 1.4 million residents to other states since 2010, and that's according to the US Census data and migration patterns and IRS records. It is predicted that if things stay the same, in the 2030 census, it'll be closer to 3.3 million people have left the state of New York. That's a chunk. And for all of you in Wyoming that want to give one of those tired old comments, don't come to Wyoming and screw up our state like you did New York. Don't worry, Skeeter. Only 18 people from New York moved to Wyoming last year, and 3 have already been extradited to face charges. All right, let's see where the New Yorkers are going. Number 10, Atlanta, Georgia. The Peach State saw 8,000 New Yorkers show up on their doorstep in 2019, with about 5,000 landing in Atlanta. The city in a forest is the nickname Atlanta carries, and you'll kind of understand that one if you ever fly in and look out the window or something like that. I like Atlanta. It's a great city with nice weather, nice people, and growing film and tech industries. A majority of the New York refugees that end up here are millennials and younger, Generation Z, whatever. And why are they heading here? One, like I said, the tech industries, the growing film industries, those are bringing a lot of people in, but it's far more affordable than New York in both cost of living and housing. Savannah and Augusta are also a couple cities that brought in some New Yorkers, and they got about 1,000 each in 2019, and the rest moving to smaller rural communities and smaller cities. Number 9, Newport News and Northern Virginia. Virginia was on the California list, and I'm sure we're going to see it on the Chicago list. Old Dominion has become a very popular state in the last decade or so. Well, I should rephrase that. The northern section has always been popular. I mean, that's where everyone that works in D.C. tries to live. But the rest of the state has been picking up steam in recent years. 9,300 New Yorkers made their way to Virginia last year, with 3,700 of them ending up in Northern Virginia and about another 3,300 ending up in the Newport News, Hampton area. The rest spread out throughout the state, but it's become a very popular state recently for a number of reasons. One of the first ones is the cost of living. It's much lower than New York, way lower than California. It's a nice state, great healthcare, education's phenomenal, and a thriving job market. Can't go wrong in Virginia, I guess. New Yorkers know this, and they're filling the place up. Number 8, Charlotte, North Carolina. If you like beer and barbecue, you're going to like North Carolina. North Carolina's craft beer scene has exploded in the past 10 years, with Asheville and Charlotte becoming pretty much brewery hubs. Asheville also has one of the best music scenes in the country, so that's worth staying there on its own. Beer and great music, why not? In 2019, North Carolina gained about 9,600 New Yorkers, with Charlotte picking up almost 5,000 of them, and Asheville and Raleigh-Durham each getting around 1,000. There are a lot of nice places to live in North Carolina, and what's bringing the people in? It's the low cost of living, it's a better place to raise families, and the outdoor lifestyle. That's one thing like Asheville has in common with Portland. They're very similar in a lot of ways. Great music scene, great beer scene, outdoor activities right outside of town and in town in some cases. Asheville just doesn't have all the nonsense like we got going on downtown Portland. That's one in the plus column for them. Number 7, Boston, Massachusetts. Just up the road from New York, you have Massachusetts, and they just acquired 13,000 New Yorkers last year. New Yorkers aren't moving here because of politics. It's pretty much the same politics. What would be the point? Cost of living is a little bit cheaper, but not much. The weather isn't much different either. So why? The number one reason people are moving to the Bay State is it's a better place to raise a family, and the Boston metro area has good paying jobs. That's what everyone says. That's why they're moving there. Boston saw 10,000 of those 13,000 New Yorkers, and the rest kind of sprinkled out throughout the state, but Boston's the big draw. Myself, if I was moving to Massachusetts, I'd be looking at some of the small towns. Massachusetts has some of the best small towns in this country. I mean, along with Vermont, a lot of those New England places, they're just rich in small towns. And they don't have that like Alabama small town mentality. Sometimes, they have like an education in the small towns in Massachusetts, where Alabama, they're educated on a few things and moonshine's one of them. Number 6, Texas. Everyone is heading to the Lone Star State. Jobs, lower cost of living, dirt cheap homes compared to New York. There's a lot to love about Texas. Now, I'm a little shocked they didn't have more moving here, but oh well. 14,000 New Yorkers are now eating killer tacos instead of killer pizza. When you leave New York and end up in Texas, you're in for a culture shock, but don't worry, you'll get used to it. They don't all wear cowboy boots and cowboy hats. You'll see it occasionally, but really it's just a stereotype. You will hear y'all all the time. They say it constantly. That's not a stereotype, that's real. It is used in most conversations, sort of how they say dude in California and the F word in New York. Dallas collected about 9,000 New Yorkers in 2019, with the rest spreading out to Houston, San Antonio, and Austin. And if you're wondering why people are moving there besides cost of living and all that, it's a better place to raise a family. People are moving there for jobs, better paying jobs, lower taxes. You name it, Texas is doing it better than most other states. If you can't afford a house in New York or anywhere in New England or California, take a look at Texas. Number 5, all over Connecticut. I guess some New Yorkers want to get the hell away from New York, just not too far. Connecticut has always been a popular landing spot for disgruntled New Yorkers. Those people have just had enough, they head to Connecticut. But I think in the coming years, it's going to be even more of a thing. As more and more people start working from home, more people will be looking at the Constitution State as a new place to, call home. If you have to go into the city for the occasional meetings like a lot of remote workers do, it's just a short drive down the road, you get to the city. Or take the Amtrak Acela train. That'll get you there in like 90 minutes. The Acela train, by the way, has very few delays. Unlike the rest of Amtrak, this one gets you there almost on time every time. It's a solid plan. Connecticut picked up 14,500 New Yorkers in 2019. No real city got a high percentage. They sort of spread out to the suburbs and little towns all along the Long Island Sound, from the state line at Port Chester all the way on up to New Haven. Number 4, all over Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is just like the Connecticut situation. More and more remote workers are finding homes in great little towns in the Keystone State. Pennsylvania's loaded with beautiful small towns. Homes are reasonable in most places, the cost of living is better than New York, and Pennsylvania is a far better place to raise a family. My favorite small town, Honesdale, is about a 2.5 hour drive away from New York City, so that's almost doable, but there's a lot more that are a lot closer. Pennsylvania acquired 19,000 New Yorkers in 2019. Again, no city got a real lion's share of them. Allenstown, Harrisburg, Lancaster, a few other places got a couple thousand each, but the rest were pretty much spread out through all these little small towns and stuff. It's a good place to live. Pennsylvania has a lot of good things going for it, and it's a solid option for anyone that's looking to get out of New York City, or New York in general. Number 3, Miami, Florida. Now this one's a no-brainer. Florida has been the go-to state for New Yorkers since, someone saw a picture of a Florida beach while sitting by a fireplace during a New York blizzard sometime in the 1800s. In 2019, the entire state saw 24,000 New Yorkers move in, with almost 7,000 making Miami their new home. Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa, and Fort Lauderdale sprouted about 3,000 New Yorkers each. This one to me would have been the logical choice, and I'm surprised they weren't number 1. This is where you retire to when you're from New York, and you mix that in with all the other people that just decide it's a better state to go to. I'm just surprised this one's not number 1. And wait till you see what number 1 and number 2 are. You'll realize there's a lot of New Yorkers out there that ain't too bright. Number 2, Los Angeles, California. My first question is why? The only people that aren't making a bad choice by moving here are wealthy people that hate cold weather and people that have lined up a well-paying job and didn't get any offers from any place else. Overpriced, overpopulated, overstimulated, and over my dead body is the most common phrase uttered right before being assaulted in Los Angeles. California gained 25,000 New Yorkers just last year. Los Angeles gained about 11,000 New Yorkers in 2019, with the Bay Area getting about 8,000 and San Diego getting about 3. If you follow Casey Neistat on YouTube, you know he's one of them moving to Los Angeles in 2019, or maybe it was late 2018. I don't know, but he's living there now. My opinion, I think he might be heading back to New York. The dude is like YouTube's Mr. New York. I don't know why he moved. Well, I know why he moved. California's a great state if you got money. And number 1, Newark, New Jersey. Blowing everyone out of the water with 36,000 New Yorkers gained is the Garden State, New Jersey. So why would they move there? A few reasons. New Yorkers are looking for affordable suburbs to buy homes and raise a family while staying close to the city. New Jersey is cheaper than Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, and in most cases, it's easier to get to the city from New Jersey. Actually, in almost all cases. They have good schools, and the suburbs have great scenery. Most suburbs. Here's where it gets weird. Newark gained the most, with 6,000 residents coming from New York to live in Newark. Newark's not that big. Newark sucks also. It's not a nice place to live, but people do strange things when they're trying to save a buck. Jersey City picked up about 2,000, and the rest spread out from Bayonne to Fort Lee. They're all staying around New York. I mean, the occasional person will move out into some of the more rural areas, but a majority of the people are staying right there. And it's just weird. I mean, I understand location, but there's so many better places I would have moved to. I would definitely gone to Connecticut before I would have gone to New Jersey. Alright, that's our video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Where would you go if you were leaving New York City or New York State? Which one of these sounds attractive to you? Myself, I would have gone to Connecticut, like I was saying. Anyway, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget all the links below. Also, give the video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.